No, I didn't say anything.
I think Matt said sorry.
No, he didn't say sorry.
He did say sorry.
Why would Matt say sorry?
Because he was imitating you.
Oh, was he?
Yes, he was saying sorry.
I don't say sorry.
Yeah, you do.
I do? No, I don't.
Like Canadian people say a boot.
I'm not Canadian.
You say sorry.
Sorry. I do not.
It's your accent, Steve.
I don't have an accent. I talk just like the guys on the news channels.
Origin.
It's not an accent. That's just a mispronunciation.
Oh. I thought that was part of your accent.
I speak proper American English.
You do?
I do.
I question that, Steve. I question your proper American English.
Well, it's true. I sound exactly like newscasters, and that's proper I can't pronounce things.
That's proper. Whatever it is, Chris. It's proper. Let me tell you, it's proper. All right. You ready to get this show on the road, Steve?
Yeah.
All right. I think we've made the people wait long enough.
Steve Alcorn's a fine investigator.
Oh, fuck off.
This is the Fortean Slip with your host, Chris York.
I don't need porn, Chris. I have a good woman.
Listen, I have a good woman. I still watch porn.
Co-host, Steve Alcorn.
You are the top shit in Bigfootery if you get the invitation.
Oh, are you?
I've gotten the invitation 2 years in a row now, Chris.
Wow, not me.
And sometimes special guest, Matt Knapp.
It's part of growing older, you know? Maturing. Making me more dignified and stuff. Okay, George Washington. I opted for the...
Is that what meth addicts say? That make me more dignified.
Taking on all things strange since 2013.
Wait a minute.
I don't know what the hell.
Are you saying that he's pregnant?
Possibly.
Was he implanted by one of these teenage aliens?
Did that happen to Arnold?
This device, which comes as part of Nintendo's Quality of Life initiative, is
going to have kids running around banging their heads off bricks.
Yeah.
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 77, the Bermuda Triangle Vacation Getaway. You and a guest can be flown to another dimension where you won't know where you are. Your compass will not work.
Yeah.
And you can never, ever come home, Steve.
That was weak.
Weak?
That was weak.
And all your fantasies will come true.
Flotsam paradise!
See, there you go. That's better.
I can't rip off fucking The Fifth Element, Steve.
Oh, I was thinking Fantasy Island.
No.
The plane boss. That thing.
Fuck off. Welcome. Smiles tattoo. Yeah. As we promised, this week's show will be on the strange triangles across the world. Did you guys catch the Agent Penis story?
What?
The Asian penis story?
No, you wouldn't have seen that one. The Agent Penis story.
Apparently not.
Oh God, now I gotta look it up. I was listening to the show.
I'm not gonna look it up.
Agent Penis. Here we go.
Agent Penis. Man.
That's right. Here we go. Woman arrested. This is from WTOP.com. Woman arrested for trespassing 3 times at the CIA, asking to speak with Agent Penis. This woman's obviously fucked in the head. But yeah, Agent Penis.
Did they let her talk to
I
him?
pull out Agent Penis quite often. Yeah, Agent Penis, Steve. You know,
I'm trying. Where did she come up with that? I mean, what?
I don't know. She I'll read the story. So
I mean, was there some guy in the bar said, "Hey, I'm an FBI agent. My name is, you know,
a woman allegedly trespassed 3 days in a row at the CIA headquarters and requested to speak to Agent Penis. She's been arrested. Jennifer Hernandez, 58. 58, this woman is, of North Carolina. That North Carolina, I tell you, allegedly traveled to CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia 4 times since April 22nd. According to the criminal complaint filed by Officer Mirko Pena.
Penis.
Mirko Penis. No relation. Of the CIA's protective service.
Oh, that Agent Penis. No, he doesn't work here.
During her first visit to the heavily fortified complex, Hernandez walked to the visitor center. The defendant explained to the officer that she had applied for employment at the CIA and that her recruiter directed her to come to the agency.
Her recruiter, her handler at age 58.
When told she was trespassing, Hernandez walked away. The next time Hernandez arrived at the CIA, May 1st, she was sitting in the rear seat of a lift vehicle. By video phone, she told the officer she was there to meet with her recruiter. She received a written warning for trespassing on an agency installation and was warned that if she returned, she would be cited for trespassing. The next day, May 2nd, arriving in an Uber, because she thought, I was in a lift yesterday. If I take an Uber, they'll never fucking recognize me. She said she wanted to speak to her recruiter and knew to come to the headquarters, Matt, because her phone was off.
Oh, well, yeah.
Realizing she had been issued a written warning the day before, the officer cited Hernandez for trespassing. And finally, on May 3rd, she showed up at the visitor center again and requested to speak to Agent Penis. Police ordered her to leave. She asked her how she intended to depart. She said by bus. And they took her to the bus stop and waited with her. And then she said, "Do you really think I'm going to leave?" I mean, she's got to speak to Agent Penis in person. She's got to get close, Matt.
She needs that penis.
How does a woman like that make it to CIA headquarters more than once?
Yeah.
It's CIA headquarters.
Yeah.
Agent Penis.
Agent Penis.
I mean, there should be all kinds of, I don't know, protocols in place to prevent that from happening.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, she mixed it
You'd
up.
think.
She came in on a bus and an Uber and a
Right.
So-
Public transportation.
right. So they.
I mean, it is the CIA. You'd
They
think
don't
they'd know
have,
about Agent Penis.
They don't. Yeah, you would think so.
But
I mean, I could understand getting to the location, but making it inside a building,
yeah.
that's kind of spooky.
Yeah. I don't know.
See what I did there?
Yeah, it is.
Spooky.
Look at you fucking just play on words, Matt.
Yeah, Steve didn't get it.
No, I didn't.
He didn't. But on to the topic du jour of the evening. No more of that Agent Penis, man.
No more of
It's
Agent
fucking-
Penis.
This show's
Inspector
enough of a
Vagina.
fucking sausage party. We don't need fucking Agent Penis.
You rolled right over me. Did you hear it?
No, I missed it. Fuck.
Inspector Vagina.
God damn me.
Inspect her vagina.
Get it.
Yeah. Fucking fuck you.
Maybe I
Fuck
should
you.
just mute.
Fuck you. No. This is what you deserve.
Why don't you
Let's just go totally corny, Matt.
Why not?
Advil, Matt. And,
Maybe I already took a handful of pills, Steve.
there you go.
All right. So I actually did some research for this show. I actually sat down, checked out some things, took some notes. I got notes.
Cool.
I actually wrote them down.
Me and Steve were going to,
Yeah,
but some things came up.
yeah. For both of you at the same time, separately.
Yes. Well, we talked about it,
Mhm.
and we were gonna actually do the whole study buddy system
Yeah.
and research together, but we couldn't line up our calendars, and
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
We're gonna go to the library together and shit.
And you really do some hardcore research.
That's
Yes.
real research with books.
Yeah,
We actually had a boat chartered for the Bermuda Triangle.
the triangle.
The triangle. I told you I took some pills.
Sorry.
Oh shit. So I sat down and I checked out some stuff, and I wanted to focus on two triangles in particular, but of the group. And I didn't go crazy like looking across the globe, but I did find one article that had 5 other triangles as spooky as the Bermuda Triangle. So I thought start off with that and go into the two. And I want to focus on the Bermuda Triangle. Obviously, it's the most famous. I mean,
It's the triangle.
we've talked about it, but I don't know how crazy we've gone into the disappearances. And the Bennington Triangle. And I want to talk about the Bennington Triangle for one, because you have the Bennington Monster, which is a Bigfoot creature that is supposedly there. And I'd wanted to go there on one of my vacations a couple of years ago, and I never went. I wound up doing something else, but so I've had like a fascination with it because it's not very far from where I am. But so anyway, I found this article. It's yesterday.uktv.co.uk. Whatever. So it's 5 other triangles. So the first one is the Bridgewater Triangle. I had no idea about this one. It's in Massachusetts. Covered some of the most foreboding and mysterious terrain you can imagine. Think vast, bleak wetlands and wooded zones, large and dense enough to get lost in, Steve. This is the area that gave rise to one of the very first UFO sightings back in the year 1760.
I'm pretty sure there were UFO sightings prior to 1760, but
Well, yeah, ancient aliens, Steve. Yeah. So, these onlookers reported a sphere of fire so brilliant that it was seen across several towns.
That's called a meteor.
Yeah, more than likely. In 1908, a pair of undertakers traveling on a carriage reported a flying object they likened to an unusually strong lantern. Other witnesses corroborated their story, some assuming it was a hot air balloon. The undertakers didn't agree. With one writing, I claim that, excuse me, a hot air balloon could not move in a circle or perpendicular as this one did.
Okay. Might be true.
I think it's funny that they were debunking UFO sightings back then, though.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a hot air balloon.
Fuck you.
Fucking Zeppelin.
Since then, the tales of inexplicable phenomena have come time and again in the Bridgewater Triangle, including sightings of cryptozoological creatures such as Bigfoot, Thunderbirds, huge flying animals of American myth, mutilations of livestock also being reported. But I'd never heard about the Bridgewater Triangle.
I have not either.
The Bennington Triangle is on this list, which we'll get into in a lot more detail when I go through the disappearances that have happened there over the years. Then we got the Dragon's Triangle, which is the Pacific Ocean's version of the Bermuda Triangle, basically. Like, I guess a lot of Japanese military vessels have disappeared there. There's not a lot on it in this article. But yes, there is one in the Pacific Ocean as well.
It's got the coolest name.
The Dragon's Triangle is pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Michigan Triangle, which we actually talked about when we talked about, what was his name? Kameki?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, the dude that disappeared there. He's not mentioned in this article, which I was surprised. The first mysteries were spoken back in the 19th century, with boats frequently going missing on the lake. One famous victim of the triangle was Rosa Bell, a double-masted vessel which was found capsized on the lake with no trace of the crew. Her ruptured stern indicated that she had been rammed by another vessel, but no other ship reported any such accident.
She was rammed.
Boat.
In 1937, Captain George Donner vanished from a freighter sailing through the triangle. The captain retired for the evening to his cabin, asking to be awoken when they neared the end point. And when they went to go wake him, the cabin was empty and gone. He was gone, and they never found him.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah, I think it was locked from the inside too.
Correct.
Yeah. And there have been planes that have downed in the Michigan Triangle. And our favorite new triangle of the night, which I guess I should have gone with this one to like actually go into, the Matlock Triangle. No, that's Perry Mason.
That doesn't matter. It's all the same.
Well, not to be confused with the Perry Mason Triangle.
That's right. The Perry Mason Triangle.
Matlock Triangle.
I've been in the Matlock Triangle myself.
I can remember I used to stay at my grandmother's a lot in the summertime because it was really close to where my cousins lived. And being up late watching Matlock. Like,
yeah.
I
remember it too because I lived with my grandma.
Oh my God. That and Stairway to Heaven.
Remember the conversation we had where I said I didn't have cable as a child? What do you want to know about Matlock and Heat of the Night, Golden Girls, some Gilligan's Island reruns?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the shit, man.
Yeah, but anyway, the Matlock Triangle is actually in Britain. And it's in the Derbyshire Dales.
Sure.
Which some have been calling the UFO, I can't even talk tonight, the UFO capital of the world.
Derbyshire Dales is the UFO capital of the world?
Yeah.
When
not Roswell.
Not Roswell. Fuck Roswell.
Come on.
Fuck Area 51.
Why should we give up our UFO, history and let them have it? That sucks. Let them be called the capital. That's not right. We have Roswell.
Okay, Steve. Calm down.
Area 51.
Wow.
What do they got over there?
And in this corner.
Yeah. Revolutionary War Part 2.
Yeah, all right. They got Bentwaters. What's the other? That one.
Sure.
Oh my God.
Sure.
Yeah, the Air Force Base with
yeah, they got it,
Pendleton and all them.
Because is it their Air Force Base or our Air Force?
It's ours. See?
Wow, listen to him. He's getting really upset about
this. He is.
Well,
the British are coming. The British are coming.
We should be the
tell him there's a Matlock Triangle in fucking Britain. He's like, what the fuck?
I know.
Matlock is an American institutional attorney.
I mean, why do we give them everything? Why do we let them have that shit? It's not right. I'm going to write a strongly worded letter to Richard Allen.
Is he to the Queen?
You should.
Well, he's the only British dude I know. So.
Yeah. He's our diplomat. That's our liaison to the UK.
Yeah, Richard, I want you to walk right up to the fucking castle and
that's right.
The Queen.
I want answers now. God damn it!
Right?
You give me my answers.
Matlock. They stole fucking Matlock from us. Great.
It's not Matlock.
They're not stealing the show.
It's the UFO capital that you're pissed off about, not Matlock.
I'm pissed off about the whole thing. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you all right? You gonna be okay?
77 episodes in, and Steve finally gets in an uproar about something, and it's this.
Yeah. 77 is more like fucking. I mean, if
you said it was episode 77.
Yeah, well, you have
reboot.
You have to go back. Oh, yeah, it's a reboot, man.
I don't remember anything from that time.
Yeah, you blacked it out, much like a molested child. So anyway, yeah, the Bermuda Triangle, which we've all heard about the Bermuda Triangle. Phil tells me it's a crock of shit, the Bermuda Triangle, that, nothing really strange happens there, and that it's no more frequent than anywhere else.
Then why do they make all those documentaries about it?
I don't know. But anyway, I thought I'd do a little research. The Bermuda Triangle stretches between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. And it's between 500,000 and a million square miles of water. The term Bermuda Triangle was coined by Vincent Gaddis in 1964. Before then, it was never called the Bermuda Triangle.
What
It
was
was
it called?
called the Atlantic fucking Ocean.
It's called "Don't Fly There."
Yeah, yeah. Columbus said shit was weird. According to Time magazine, from 1946 to 1991, there were over 100 disappearances of ships and planes.
That's
But
it.
like you said, I mean, in relation to anywhere else, it's not that weird. I mentioned Christopher Columbus. He did, when he came through what they think was the Bermuda Triangle, say that he was having compass malfunctions, seeing mysterious lights over the water. A lot of people have attributed that to ball lightning now. I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but that's what people think it was. He said that the seas were choppier. I don't know that makes any difference. I think the sea can be choppy. And he may have seen a fireball crash into the sea, which again, Matt, could be a meteor or whatnot.
But all of that happening at the same time?
Uh-huh.
No, this was over the course of a period of time while they were going through the Bermuda Triangle.
Well, right, but I'm saying still that none of that stuff happened out in the middle of the ocean or right after they left, port.
Or not that he documented.
Right. So I would say that he noticed something
different,
worthy of documentation.
And then there's a bunch of different disappearances, but I had grabbed some. I actually watched through a BuzzFeed video. What?
You researched the show by watching a BuzzFeed video.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's actual facts in the fucking video, Steve.
It's more than I did, so.
I mean, I actually watched a mini documentary on the Bennington Triangle. Is that okay? Did I do enough research for you, Steve?
Well, you did more than I did, so yeah.
Oh. I'm glad you approve.
BuzzFeed.
Yeah. So in March 4th, 1918, a Navy fuel ship, I guess one of the biggest at the time, the USS Cyclops, disappeared north of Barbados. And the weird thing about this one was that the captain never sent out a distress call, and there were ships in the area that radioed out to the Cyclops, and no one on that ship answered any of the radio calls. And it just disappeared. Poof. Gone. Like fucking Kaiser Soze. All these fucking people.
Who?
Kaiser Soze. Usual Suspects. Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's kind of like Kaiser Soze now too. Poof, he's fucking gone.
Well, different circumstance.
Yeah. So on December 28th, 1948, a Douglas Dakota DC-3 airplane carrying 26 people disappeared 50 miles from its destination in Florida. And it radioed in its position, said it was about 20 minutes out, and then was never heard from again. Nothing.
But that happens all the time everywhere.
Happens all the time everywhere?
That's what Phil says.
Oh, okay. Well, Phil is a buzzkill.
Phil's Killington.
He'll come in with facts and shit.
Screw facts.
He will, and then he'll think it, proves that everything he says is right. That's just the way he is. I don't know what to tell you. And I think that these accounts are strange. Can strange things happen? Fuck yeah. Strange things can happen. Does that mean that they're like, outside the realm of normal? Like that they're supernatural? I don't know that that's the case, but strange things happen.
So on December 22nd of 1967, the Witchcraft, which was a boat that was supposedly unsinkable.
Well, they named it the Witchcraft. That was our first mistake.
Yeah.
So was
So-
the Titanic.
But yeah, well, I guess that this was just like it was a 23-foot cabin cruiser, but it had a flotation device inside the hull. So even if the boat took on water, it would keep a portion of the boat afloat.
Let's stuff the hull with life jackets. That'll work. It's a flotation device.
That's not what they mean.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, thanks, Steve. Thanks for that amazing commentary on the story of the Witchcraft. You got anything else for us, Steve?
No.
Any other comedic,
No, I'm just. No.
Oh shit. It had two people on board, and Dan Barak, I guess he was an experienced sailor, and he had radioed the Coast Guard saying he was a mile out from Miami and that they had hit something. But when the Coast Guard showed up, they couldn't find him anywhere. No sign of the boat, no sign of the two guys, nothing.
Maybe, perhaps, possibly, he wasn't really a mile outside of Miami. Just thought he was.
Just thought he was?
Well, that happens a lot in Bermuda Triangle.
So he was just...
So maybe he wasn't in the location that they thought he was.
They think he was drunk?
Well, I don't know about that.
Steve.
I watched an episode.
You're the man with the answer, Steve.
I watched an episode of Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
There was his research.
What did Quantum Leap tell you about this particular case, Steve?
Well, not that particular case, but Sam jumped into this guy, and then
It's all you, buddy. It's all you. No, you take over the show, Steve.
The compass went all wacky and stuff. They were in the Bermuda Triangle.
What about the radio?
And the radio went, they couldn't communicate.
But they were communicating
They were
effectively with the Coast Guard. So their radio wasn't all out of whack, and he didn't say, my compass is all screwy
Well, Sam was flying. These people were in
a boat.
so there may be differences.
Sam Beckett.
Sam Beckett, yeah.
They didn't notice that their fuel was completely at the wrong level to be a mile away from where they were supposed to be. They couldn't see Miami. They couldn't see any lights from Miami.
Can you see Miami from a mile out? I'm
On the water, I'm sure you can.
yeah.
You would definitely see the
What about
lights if it was
curvature of the
nighttime.
earth and shit? Isn't that
What?
the curvature of the earth?
The earth doesn't curve. What are you talking about?
That's right. I forgot.
From a mile? It's not that
Yeah,
much.
you would see something. You might see. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Was it daytime or nighttime?
I don't know, Steve.
Well, that would make a difference. Maybe it was,
If something screwy was going on, I'm just saying, like, yeah, maybe they weren't a mile away, but they didn't report anything screwy going on that would make them think that they weren't a mile away. So the screwy thing would be every indication that they had was they were a mile away.
okay. So I'm wrong. Maybe they were right.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. Maybe they were 10 miles away. I'm saying it's still strange that they had no indications they weren't in the spot that they thought they were.
But how strange is it that? How long did it take the Coast Guard to respond? First of all, we don't know that. Or did the article say?
I would have to go back.
Okay,
I
assume it took the Coast Guard. I mean, a mile out of. They'd have to know the exact location first of all. But how fast does a boat sink when it hits something? And it depends on what it hits. I mean, it could have just sank.
But it was unsinkable.
Well, yeah. I mean, they had the life preservers and shit, but all boats are sinkable.
Steve's just breaking it down. Steve is
Haven't we learned?
night show.
Didn't we learn anything from the Titanic that all boats are sinkable?
Okay, here's the deal. Boats and aircraft go down all the time.
I'm going to tell you one thing before you finish your statement, Matt.
Okay.
If somebody tells me, "Oh yeah, this boat's unsinkable," it's fine. I'm not getting on that boat because they all sink. Every time somebody says that about a boat, it sinks. Go ahead, Matt.
These events happen all the time,
Right.
but I don't think they like in the Bermuda Triangle. I don't think it's like just more frequent than anywhere else. I think it's just the circumstances surrounding the events are strange, and that's why it's such a big deal.
I've seen studies per capita. It's no different than anywhere else in the world as far as the disappearances and things like that. But I would have to agree with you. It seems like the circumstances are stranger, but the amount is not.
I mean, because you also have a lot of people that don't disappear in the Bermuda Triangle, but report strange phenomenon whenever they're traveling through it.
But there's I'm sure a vast majority of people who travel through the Bermuda Triangle that report nothing.
Right.
So,
I mean, yeah, cruise ships go through there every day.
it could be that we hear about it because of the vast amount of traffic that actually, I mean, it's the Bermuda Triangle. I mean, you're going to Bermuda. How many people go to Bermuda on vacation every year?
Millions.
Puerto Rico or wherever.
Millions.
Right. So maybe it's just because it's a highly trafficked area that we hear these stories, and in other places that isn't as highly trafficked, we might have the exact same stories. We just don't hear about them because it's not as popular a destination. Or maybe the people in Bermuda just don't want to see us and make up all this shit.
It's just a name for a location.
Yeah, it's just only a corner.
It
of
has
the
nothing to
triangle.
do with actual Bermuda.
I think it does.
The
All right,
Bermudans are behind it.
Steve, are you done breaking this all down?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, continue, in your brain while I read the next disappearance
All right.
for you. This one is probably one of the stranger ones that I've seen. This is Flight 19, which was a military flight. It was December 5th, 1945. 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers left Fort Lauderdale, Florida at around 2:10 p.m. to do a routine training mission. There was 14 men involved that were on board these aircraft. Shortly after they completed their training mission, they became lost. The transmission that they got from one of the pilots at that time said, "We can't find west. Everything is wrong. We can't be sure of any direction. Everything looks strange, even the ocean."
That's my favorite story.
Okay, so this transmission comes in. 20 minutes later, they receive the last transmission from this 14-man crew, which is from the Lieutenant Charles Taylor. He says, "We can't make out anything. We think we may be about 225 miles northeast of base. It looks like we are entering white water. We are completely lost." So this happens. Minutes after that final transmission, they send out a PBM Mariner flying boat on a rescue mission to find boom, and there it
With
was.
sound effects.
And there it goes.
That was the boat.
And after it left, it would radio the tower once before vanishing itself.
I don't think it's that odd that the airplanes disappeared, but you said it was a flying boat? What's a flying boat? Is flying? Actually flying?
It can land on water.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's stranger that one disappeared after the others, because obviously it had the ability to land on water and float.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened?
Well, I've heard different theories about this, but the fact remains that this was a squadron of pilots that were trained to fly without their gear. Like if something goes wrong, if their instruments screw up, they still know how to fly, and they couldn't find west. There's a thing in the air called the sun.
Yeah.
They should have been able to find west. That's one of the weirdest things about it. Most theories are in the lines of they were lost for whatever reason, and they continued to just fly out into the ocean until they ran out of fuel. But where's the radio contact? Where's the
right? Why did they keep losing radio contact?
Right.
It's a very strange story.
And as of yet, we haven't found any of the airplanes, correct?
No.
No,
I know they've been looking ever since. Obviously, people were trying to find them.
And there was like some theories that there's like possibly like fog or low altitude clouds that they're flying through, and because their instruments quit working, they're actually flying at an angle towards the ocean and just crashed into it unknowingly. But that requires, like, all these things requires all of those pilots to go along with the decision
and to be experiencing the same exact thing.
Right.
Like the story just is very odd. Like 5 planes, and 2 radio transmissions after their training mission.
And like the rescue plane, I mean, like, it would have specific protocols.
Mm-hmm.
It would be in constant contact, radio contact. So what happened to it?
Well, that one only put out 1 transmission, according to what Chris said.
Right, but I'm sure it was supposed to put out more than one.
Right. It should have been in constant, like you said, constant radio contact, but it wasn't. Huh. That's one of my. I mean, I've actually studied this story in the past, but it's been so long I can't remember a whole lot about it. But it's always been intriguing because these are trained military. I mean, even if they were trainees, they're still trained more than you or I would be to be out.
Yeah, and they're not going to let those planes go out without people who know what the fuck's going on.
Hundreds of hours of flying time, I'm sure, before they're allowed to even venture out over the ocean.
Yeah. So I mean, it was the one that caught me the most out of all of the stories. It is a rather odd one. The other thing that I wanted to bring up about the Bermuda Triangle is the idea that that's where Atlantis is, or some people think that Atlantis sunk because of the Bermuda Triangle, or it disappeared because of the Bermuda Triangle. And I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but there are people who speculate that.
There's like a sidewalk or something that allegedly goes out down in there.
Well, there's the Bimini Road.
The Bimini Road, yeah.
Yeah. And the Bimini Road is really interesting. And a lot of people like try to discredit it and say that's a natural thing. But there's quite a few people out there who have gone down there and looked at it and said, this is not a natural formation. This is, it's some type of a road or structure. It has, I believe it has like balancing stones underneath the stones to keep them level. So,
I mean, it looks like, it appears anyway that they're cut stone. It's not like natural. I mean, they're sharp edges and shit like that. So,
and I mean, we know that there are underwater cities, and they're finding all kinds of them. That after the last ice age, when all the ice melted and the water levels rose, there were a lot of those cities were on the coast, and they're gone. They're under the sea. I mean, the Mediterranean's full of them. So, and I don't know how much how much weight there is to the fact that Atlantis was there, but the Bermuda Triangle's been in our canon of our creepy supernatural things for, my whole life. I can remember.
Especially our generation growing up. I mean, the Bermuda Triangle was one of those things like, don't ever get near quicksand and don't go to the Bermuda Triangle.
Right. Yeah. Those are the places you don't go.
Yeah. Because quicksand was
so
everywhere when we were a kid.
I was so scared of quicksand when I was a kid. I think, what was it? $6 Million Man or some show had it on there. I'm like, so every time I saw a wet spot in the ground, I thought it was going to be quicksand.
Well, yeah, any type of action-based show in like the 80s had them getting stuck in quicksand and almost dying.
Almost everybody died in quicksand in the 80s.
Damn quicksand.
In the 70s too. Late 70s, early 80s, I think, was the quicksand craze.
Yeah. And the other triangle, of course, is the Bennington Triangle. Now, I had a planned vacation to go out there, but the problem is that when I wanted to go out there, the week was raining the entire week, and everything that I had wanted to do there would have been outside. So I didn't want to. I canned the friggin' trip and went and did something else. I'd still like to go out and venture out and do some adventuring around that area. But I have yet to get to do it, but I went and did a little bit of research on this as well. It's located around Glastonbury, Vermont. I didn't catch where the triangle actually is. Actually, I'm going to look it up real quick so I can have a frame of reference. What's that?
I'm going to guess it's near Glastonbury, Vermont.
Yeah.
No, Steve.
Yeah, you think so, Steve? You think that's where it is? Okay, so it's in the Green Mountain National Forest.
Right.
I have a question for you, Steve.
I'll do this.
I'm half awake, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Why are all these places referred to as triangles?
Because that's the shape they are. I'm assuming.
But you could draw a circle around the triangle and then it'd be inside of a circle.
Because they needed a shape.
But why are they all triangle?
Because
why isn't there a mysterious square?
It was probably taken.
Wow.
Circles taken. Well, you got crop circles.
It is.
There's the Bennington Triangle, Steve.
Albany?
Oh, wow. Albany, New York?
Don't travel outside Albany.
That's right. Now, I live over in this area.
Yeah, you're not even close.
You're way up higher than that.
You're closer to the Portland.
You're in Canada.
No clue. Yeah, exactly. I am in Canada. So, this area is well known for the Bennington Monster, which I said at the beginning of the show.
What's that road right in the middle of it?
The one that
it seems like it just goes from one point to one point.
There's the mystery.
Whoa. It's probably just the way that Google
the
Maps
Lost Highway.
rendered it as he was zooming out or whatever.
Matt asked me why they called triangles. Well, right there, it's in the shape of a fucking triangle. That's why.
The mystery has been solved.
Okay,
by
so
Steve
the
Alcorn.
closer you get to Albany, the fewer mysteries there are.
So if it was a circle that went to all these points,
well, then you'd have more points. Or
but it couldn't be a circle. What about a square, Steve? What if we just made this fucker a square?
Well, only the mysterious activity only happens.
What if New Hampshire is its own triangle?
Well, I think that Maine is probably its own triangle.
Oh, Maine doesn't look like a triangle, but New Hampshire does.
Does it? I guess it does.
Oh my fucking Christ! Matt, what am I fucking working with here?
I don't know.
I wasn't never good at geography. I'm sorry.
Just give him a piece of cheese.
I know what Pennsylvania and Ohio look like. So
fucking hell.
That's all that matters.
All right. So anyway, the first disappearance that is known, that there's been all kinds of disappearances in this area, I guess, but there is a handful of them that are considered odd or strange, creepy, whatever you want to fucking call it. The first of which being Mitty Rivers. Mitty Rivers. Oh, Mitty Rivers. Was hunting in Hell Hollow. Now,
that's a guy's name?
Mitty Rivers.
And he was hunting where?
In Hell Hollow.
Well, that was his first.
What did he expect was going to happen?
Exactly. Go to Hell Hollow. Yeah. Shit's going down, man. He was last seen at 4 p.m. On November 12th, 1945. And this is the one that started off. People had seen him on his way out, and he just some people say that all the other ones are all just tagged on to Mitty Rivers. There wasn't much information on the Mitty Rivers one, but just that there was a big search. They were paying people $4 a day They were offering in the newspaper $4 a day to come help search for him, I think, or something like shit like that.
That was like $6 in today's economy.
Wow, Steve, way to account for inflation there, buddy. So the next one was on December 1st of 1946, a year later. Paula Weldon. And she was working in the lunchroom at the Bennington College. Excuse me. And after a shift there, she was last seen walking down the road into the woods at 4 p.m. And she had told a friend that she was planning on going for a hike, but she wasn't dressed for it at all. She wasn't prepared for it at all. But people did see her going into the woods. And there were all kinds of theories, like foul play was suspected. It was suspected that she took off with a boyfriend, although no one knew anything about any boyfriend. But she just vanished, walking off into the woods. 3 years later to the day, December 1st, 1949, Jim Tedford, old Jim Tedford, was headed to visit family. He was last seen in Burlington, Vermont, on his way to Bennington. He wasn't reported missing for a week. This is one of the most overblown cases out of the bunch. For one, because he technically wasn't in Bennington. He was on his way there. And there are people who have gone so far as to say that he was on the train, and then when they arrived at Bennington, he was mysteriously gone. People have really fucking blown it out of proportion. The next one is Columbus Day, 1950. Paul Jepson. And Paul Jepson was a little kid. He and his parents his parents were caretakers at it was a landfill / pig farm.
What?
And he disappeared from the truck with his mother had gone to do something, and she had told him to stay in the truck. He was either abducted from the truck or he took off out of the truck, and he was a little kid, and went walking down the road. They had bloodhounds track him, and they tracked him down as far as East and Chapel Road. So they know he got to that point, and his tracks were going in the direction of Glastonbury Mountain. Now that's notable because he had been telling his parents that he wanted to go there to Glastonbury Mountain. Now there is a theory that he was eaten by pigs, that his parents killed him and threw him in with the pigs.
I'm guessing that's what happened.
But the dogs tracked him.
Correct.
But maybe he made that walk and then they killed him and fed him to the pigs because he was bad. We told you not to go to that mountain.
Boy, I told you to stay in the truck.
Boy, get your ass in that fucking truck.
Pigs will eat a person. I mean,
yes, they will, and there will be no evidence.
They go through bones like butter.
So if you want to commit a murder, make sure you do it on a pig.
Steve.
Yes,
just saying. If you want to
give murder instructions,
are you trying to create a new fucking breed of serial killer here, Steve?
I did not tell them how to murder somebody. I just told them how to dispose of the body.
Oh, Steve.
If you're already going to murder somebody,
Steve. All right. Anyway, then on October 28th, 1950, Frida Langer, she was on a trip with her husband and cousin camping. Now, this is the only disappearance in which the body was found. And I didn't go into any of the details about what, the body, what was the condition. It was very decomposed by the time that they found her. But she slipped and fell in the water when she was with her cousin. And she got so wet that she had told her cousin that she was going back to the camp to change. And she never came back. And then some hunters found her in May, the following May. But I did, like I said, I didn't look into if there was anything said about what happened to her body or whatever. But I guess it was weird because it had happened so close in relation to the Paul Jepson. Yeah, it was literally weeks after. And it is, all the cases are kind of strange.
It appears,
and I like the Bennington Triangle stories, because you got the Bigfoot monster there, and I guess there's some UFO stuff that's related in there too. But I don't like the fact that people go disappearing and they don't show up. But yeah, it makes for some interesting stories and some some head scratching on what the fuck happened or what's going on.
High strangeness.
That seems like a pretty heavily forested area. I mean, there is a national forest there.
On an interesting note, it is very highly speculated that H.P. Lovecraft's Whisperer in the Darkness may be based around the Bennington Triangle, which I thought was very interesting. But yeah.
There's a gentleman who's made an entire series of books on people disappearing in national forests.
Are we talking about David Paulides or Paulides or Paulides?
That's a national forest, at least a good portion of that triangle. People disappear in those places all the time, mysteriously, without ever being found. Happens.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you got to understand, when you go out into the wilderness, you are going out of your normal element.
You got a lady who wasn't prepared to go going hiking. You got a little boy who wasn't prepared to be in the forest. I mean, so to me, those stories particularly aren't that strange. Now, the hunter guy, that might be a little bit different.
Yeah, the first one.
Muddy Rivers or whatever you call it.
Middy Rivers.
Yeah.
Middy Rivers, Steve.
Rivers was a country singer. But
yeah, I mean, it is, a lot of times this stuff can be explained away. But you get this folklore and legend, and
that's
all
the
wrapped
thing.
up.
Whenever it comes to stuff like this, all of it can be explained away.
For the most part, yes.
That doesn't mean that it's not true or there isn't something strange going on.
Right. Now, the one that interests me the most of what we talked about tonight was Flight 19.
Yeah.
Flight 19 is, I mean, here you have this group of 14 men on a training mission. They completed a training mission. Like, it wasn't like anything went wrong there. And they're on their way back to base. And then all of a sudden, everything goes fucking haywire. And they don't know where they are. I mean, we don't have the audio of these guys' voices radioing back. But based on like what was transcribed, that sounds like some scary shit.
Yeah, there's some creepy stuff going on.
I mean, what was it? The fucking guy.
The ocean looks weird.
Yeah, that was the one that got me. It was like,
thumbing through his actual notes.
I got notes.
He's really got notes.
We can't find west. Everything is wrong. We can't be sure of any direction. What is that? We can't be sure of any direction. Everything looks strange, even the ocean.
No, as Matt said, these guys, or I think it was Matt, these guys were, they could fly without instruments, correct?
Yeah.
They were trained to fly without, and the sun would have been out. This was in the daytime. I know this one was.
The weather conditions were completely favorable. There was nothing, weather-wise that should have fucked with them.
Maybe it was one of those electronic fogs that they have in the Bermuda Triangle.
The electronic fog.
Yes.
The mist.
Well, there's a theory that there's some sort of magnetic thing going on there, and that's what messes up compasses, and it also
the sun. It messes up the sun's location.
No,
it makes the ocean look weird.
No, but it could. Maybe it messes with your eyes. Huh?
Yeah.
magnets messing with your eyes. That's what it was.
Never encountered that before, but okay.
I'm just saying it could
It
be
could.
true. We don't know.
Listen, if I could get the rights, was it Cool in the Gang that did Celebrate?
I believe so.
Sure.
Yeah, if I could get the rights to play that shit, like, it's very rarely that I like to bring anything from the chat to the show. But Dean Cooper just left the chat room for the night, so I would like to celebrate.
Bored with the show, is he?
Now,
How's that?
Now I've been paying attention to the chat all night. The
Shat.
chat. It's more like a shat than anything else. And Dean at about 6:46, 6:50 was still saying the guys there's something wrong. The guys are starting really late tonight. Like, dumbass didn't fucking refresh the YouTube so that the show would start.
There's something wrong, all right.
Yeah, so it's a celebration.
On a side note, speaking of chat room, when is the show with Dr. Meldrum?
Yeah.
When is that?
Who was getting us Meldrum? Well, Mr. Redding. That was Mr. Ryan Redding, and he has not been in the chat room this evening.
Oh.
He's running.
Mysteriously disappeared. After saying, I can get you Meldrum.
The Fortean Slip Triangle.
The plot thickens.
Mr. Redding and Dean Cooper.
Ooh. So yeah, and I mean, to get back on the Flight 19 thing, I mean, I'd love to shit on Dean and Ryan all night.
Oh, continue by all means.
Going back to that one transmission that they got from that one pilot, and then the last one they get from the lieutenant, Charles Taylor. We can't make out anything. We think we may be about 225 miles northeast of base. It looks like we are entering white water.
What does that mean?
That's the one that gets me. And we're completely lost after that. It looks like we are entering white water. So I was like, is that a term that they use? That I didn't look into, but that's rather strange to me. It looks like we are entering white water. What the fuck's white water? What does that mean? Give me a clue. Throw me a bone.
That's white.
Steve, you're not wrong.
No, I'm not. What I've heard tell that weather conditions can be drastically different in different parts of the triangle.
Mm-hmm.
So that in one area,
okay,
and that the weather changes like in a heartbeat. Like,
okay, yeah, and here's the thing. I remember once I went to I attended a funeral for someone in my stepmother's family, and I was sitting down at a table, and the couple that sat down with me, one of them was a meteorologist, and he didn't work for like a like a TV station or anything like that. But we got talking about it because it wound up raining, and everybody's like, why is it supposed to rain? Him and I got talking. He's like, what people fail to realize is that weather systems develop. Like, they just happen sometimes. Sometimes they happen. They're going across a section of land, but they just develop.
Right.
So it is very possible that something could have developed while they were out that fucked them up. I don't know.
But even then, if they were experienced flyers with
they would have been able to figure it out
with the ability to fly without instrumentation. Well, you have to do that at night sometimes, so you wouldn't be able to see the sun. You might be able to see the moon, depending on the day. Stars, I guess you could navigate by too. But I mean, there's all sorts of weather conditions that these pilots would eventually have to fly through. They should have been able to figure it out.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
That's the
light
conundrum.
colored seawater, especially over shoals or shallows.
Oh yeah,
White water.
Mm-hmm.
I know what white water is. I mean, people raft on it all the time.
Not that kind of white water.
But it's similar,
Similar,
No.
but it's in the ocean.
right?
It's like where the color of the ocean changes color because you have like a sandbar underneath it or something.
But they were
Oh,
clear-
okay. So it's very. In other words, it's not your deep blue ocean,
Right.
which isn't technically blue, but
So that would indicate that they may have been
Close to land.
nearer land than they should have been, judging on what where,
But if they got over land, they could have just landed.
or maybe they thought they were close to land and they kept seeing that white water,
But that shouldn't exist where they were is the problem.
right? And that's why they got screwed up, because they thought they were closer to land than they were, but they never indicated that on their transmissions. They just said white water. I mean, according to what Chris read.
maybe they're like the A team. And they disappeared. And they're soldiers for hire.
I
They
think
help
so.
people.
And now they help people
They help people
in their squad of
if you
old
can find
planes.
them. Maybe you can hire Flight 19.
It's a little difficult to find them, but you do.
Oh shit.
No, that one does. That one is screwy.
Yeah.
Because we hear UFO reports, and if it comes from a military pilot, you believe it above most other reports, because these guys are trained to see what's in the sky,
right.
and so it would stand to reason that the guys in this squadron were also trained and should have known or been able to do. I mean, there's mistakes that are made, but by 5 people. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, well, there was a squadron leader and everybody would just follow the squadron leader, but I'm not sure that I buy that.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm not sure that, I mean, the squadron leader got screwed up, so they all died. I don't buy that.
The
Yeah.
only way that would happen is if like you were the only person in the group that disagreed.
Right. I think they would have all come to an agreement. Okay, this is the way we go.
Right. And if the leader was screwed up, then somebody would have taken over, or they would have all been like, "Hey, he's wrong. We're not following him."
We're all going to die a watery death. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, your survival instincts kick in, and you're not going to just follow somebody blindly to your death.
There would have been one guy that says, fuck this shit.
Right.
Turn it around.
And the surprising thing, nothing's been found. I mean, they sent out that other aircraft after him. Nothing.
And it wasn't just the squad leader reporting this stuff on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were all experiencing it.
Yeah. Yeah. That one had me scratching my head while I was, listening to it. It was very, very interesting.
They're going to.
And that case that we did last week with the Michigan Triangle.
Yeah.
What was it? Steve Kamecki, I think his name is. Yeah. That is fucking out there. Yeah, I've heard some pretty strange stories in my time, but when I heard that one, I was like, "What?" Like his footprints just go out towards the lake and stop?
And
that's
the
it?
water part is he doesn't know anything about it. He doesn't remember a single thing.
Yeah.
At least according to him.
Right, correct. Right, he could be hiding something. We don't know.
What?
Maybe he's like fucking John Travolta phenomenon.
99% of the people who would experience something like that and then go on to write theories like he does would use that theory, use that story to back his theory, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I find it credible at all is because he doesn't want to talk about it at all.
It's like I said, that one's another fucking head scratcher.
There's not a lot of information about that particular story, but what there is, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a very strange one, and that's why when I came across it, when I was watching the new season of Ancient Aliens that hit Hulu, I was like, ooh, the fuck is this? So maybe I need to watch more Ancient Aliens.
I think so. I
For
think
show topics.
that's what we should take
Yeah.
from this whole.
Steve, you need to start watching Ancient Aliens.
I don't like Ancient Aliens.
What?
I like modern aliens. They're cooler.
They're cooler than the ancient ones.
Yeah, they got better ships. Well, no, I guess we don't. They don't build pyramids and shit. But
Yeah, I want some pyramid building aliens, Steve. You know,
cut
if I'm gonna have me some aliens, I want pyramid building aliens.
I prefer the cow cutting aliens.
What did that guy's disappearance have to do with ancient aliens, though?
Everything has to do with ancient. What are you nuts?
Yeah, haven't you learned?
Come
Yeah.
on.
It wasn't ancient.
Well, you know,
Maybe
it happened in the 70s.
They have time
man.
travel. I'm sure.
Yeah.
In the 70s is ancient.
Why would you be sure of that?
Time travel?
Yeah.
They're ancient aliens. Everything is possible.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Time travel exists. Even Einstein agreed with that, or could exist.
Well, okay. I'm just saying that having the ability to get from point A to point B in the universe doesn't necessarily mean that they would also have the ability to travel through time.
We all travel through time.
That's right.
1 second per second into the future.
Time's on my side.
That's right.
1 millisecond.
Yes, it is.
Millisecond.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. I'll take that alley-oop. Shit. Hey, time after time, you know?
I think everything should be blamed on it. Not blamed, credited to.
Steve, if I could put time in a bottle.
What would you do if you could put time in the bottle?
If you're lost and you look, you will find it.
Time after time?
Time after time.
Fucking right.
I'm trying to think of time songs. My mind is blank.
Time! Come on, Steve. Come on, buddy.
Once upon a time? I don't know. I'm stuck.
What song is that?
It's not a song. It's a fairy tale.
Which one?
All of them.
Huh?
Yes. Every fairy tale starts once upon a time. Don't you know anything?
So that's your submission?
That's my submission.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That one time.
Like you're not a big Cher fan. Come on, Steve. It's just left
Cher.
there for you.
Of course I'm
Yeah.
a Cher fan. Who isn't?
What did she wish she could do, Steve?
Um,
What would
Hey,
she do if
Steve-
she could do
Steve,
this?
does anybody really know what time it is?
I don't remember what Cher
Does
could
anybody really
do
care?
this, but no. No.
Hey, Steve, we hit the big time. We're on our way out. We're making it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What was the theme of that one TV show? I know there was time in it. I can't remember. Booze and
For
Buddies.
the times they are a changing.
What is that? Louis Armstrong doing
Bob Dylan?
Bob Dylan? I mean, that was
Hey.
horrible.
Fuck off. Yeah?
I mean, it was a great Louis Armstrong.
Yeah? You like that?
It wasn't so good of a Bob Dylan.
Yeah?
Just saying.
I see assholes in Ohio
See, it's really good.
selling shit on eBay,
Yeah. Keep going.
painting everything fucking green for their wife, acting like an asshole on my show. And I think to myself, why don't I get another co-host?
Nobody would do something like that. Nobody. You couldn't find it. It wouldn't work.
It wouldn't?
No.
No.
I've listened to shows that I'm not on. They suck.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wow.
I am the star. And the talent.
The talent?
That's right.
Okay.
I still haven't come up with a song with time in it.
I know, I'm waiting. I'm giving you some time. I'm giving it to you.
Well, you took all the good ones.
Because you know what, Steve? The time has come today.
Didn't the Bosom Buddies theme have time?
Where do I live, Steve?
Oklahoma. Oh, Tulsa time. There you go. I got it.
Jesus
I win.
Christ.
We don't need nothing but a what, Steve?
Time.
Good time, motherfucker. Poison.
Well, see, I don't know that kind of music. Tulsa time I get. Poison? I don't know.
What about one more time? Daft Punk.
Who?
One more time.
Daft Punk.
Yeah, you know, the fucking guys with the helmets.
It's not my style, man.
You don't do some fucking Daft Punk?
I don't even. I've heard of them, I think. Let me look them up. DAFT, like Dafty.
It's
Daft
time for me to fly.
Time for you to fly?
Yeah.
It's time for me to fly. You did it wrong.
Daft Punk. Oh, yeah, they do wear helmets.
Yeah.
Funky helmets.
Yeah.
Electronic music, I see.
Just
1993.
let the good times roll, Steve.
Maybe I do.
Hey, Matt. If you need to get in touch with me, just knock 3 times.
Oh, see, now that was a good one.
Once, twice, 3 times a lady.
Oh, geez, you got me there too.
Steve, every time you go away,
What kind of
you
rock
take
and
a
roll is
piece
it
of
that you
me
like?
with you.
I don't care for rock and roll that much. I listen to country.
You don't like that old time rock and roll? Kind of music that just soothes your soul?
Feels like the first time. Did you already do that one?
No, actually.
There you go.
All right, he's done.
He's fucking back with us.
Thank you, Google.
Back with us.
You Googled it.
There's at least 50 songs with time in the title. So, Love Me 2 Times, The Doors. Huh? Time in a Bottle. You already got that one, though. Yeah.
That's right. The first thing that I'd like to do is to take every day
I feel like I'm part of something.
Spend them with you.
till eternity passes away. To spend them with you.
3 Times a Lady was Commodores, by the way.
Yeah.
I knew that. Although I think, didn't Kenny Rogers do a version of that?
Yes.
Kenny Rogers did a fucking version of everything,
No, he didn't.
including a new version of himself where he's plastic.
Yeah. Kenny Rogers transformed himself into somebody else.
He looks like Kenny Rogers with a mask on.
He looks like Kenny Rogers wearing a shitty mask of Kenny Rogers.
He looks like if fucking Tom Cruise actually was able to put on a Kenny Rogers mask in Mission Impossible.
He looks like if somebody dipped their entire face in candle wax.
Here's the thing. The first time ever I saw your face, Chris, I thought you were plastic. See what I did there?
Wow, look at you
I
go.
took what you guys were talking about. I found a song title that worked, and I used it.
Thanks for joining the program, Steve.
I know.
You know, I'm glad to know that you are the quote unquote talent.
I am the talent.
Mm.
Sure.
How long did it take you to pull a time song out of your ass?
As long as it took me to Google it, to remember that Google existed, and then type it in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all right, guys. I know the show's just about over, but I've had the time of my life. See what I did?
See, he's not gonna let it go now.
Uh-uh.
No. See, this is he's like, I got it now.
It's like a party all the time. That
Oh.
was Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy.
Yeah. So you found the list, huh?
So there's 50 of them. Oh, there's more than 50. Oh, wow.
Oh, Steve. Way to break down that fucking fourth wall, Steve.
As long as you do that to me one more time.
Oh fuck! You see, I you give him a little bit of rope now,
just a
just
smidgen.
fucking little bit,
Enough to tie a shoe with.
and that motherfucker will make a noose.
I just wasn't made for these times. That's the Beach Boys. I don't know what it is. just reading song titles now.
Oh, thanks. That's riveting.
All right.
I'm glad you couldn't
Give me just a
make it
little more.
work and work it into the show like Matt and I did.
Sans list, I might add.
If you give me just a little more time, I will figure out how to do it right.
Oh God. Oh.
Maybe in another place, another time.
Shut up.
Just maybe if there's some way we could turn back time, find some way. And Steve could join in,
Maybe.
being the big Cher fan that he is and all.
I do like Cher. I mean, I like Barbara Streisand too, and I like Barry. Barry Manilow's good.
Listen, Matt. He likes him for Barry Manilow.
I'm just telling you. I mean, aside from country music, those are the people I care for. Care for, like
Cher, Babs, and Barry Manilow.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Strange times.
Yeah. Do you like some "You Don't Bring Me Flowers"?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you like that shit?
You Don't Bring Me Flowers anymore. I love that song.
You don't sing me love songs.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Steve walks around the house with his fucking shirt unbuttons, his fucking chest hair sticking out.
I'm not ashamed that I like
Chains on like fucking Neil Diamond.
I have no. With Neil Diamond's also good.
You love that shit.
Tom Jones.
Forever in blue jeans, babe.
Big fan of Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Big old swinging dick, Tom Jones. Supposedly you got the fucking Sweetwater Legend there, Steve.
See, he really was going for an album cover look.
Yeah.
Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Tom Jones. Now, Tom Jones is good.
It's not unusual.
Fucking Tom Jones. More women have thrown their fucking panties at Tom Jones.
That's true.
I think than anybody. I mean,
he's a man to be admired for sure.
Have you fucking looked at his fucking crotch, for Christ's sake?
Doesn't.
Jesus Christ, Steve, you can't miss it.
Polyester pants don't lie.
I'm not looking at other guys' crotch.
I mean, God damn it. Fucking Tom Jones in a pair of jeans is like fucking David Bowie in the Labyrinth with his fucking yoga pants on and his cock fucking sticking out down the side of his leg.
I wouldn't know. Not looking at
come on, get the fuck out of here. You can't miss that shit.
I did miss it. Just because I like the guy as a singer doesn't mean I'm looking at his penis.
Agent penis?
His agent penis. See, we brought it all around.
Mr. Tom Jones, I'm here to see Agent Penis.
Remember the good times. That one I didn't even have to Google.
What?
Remember the good times.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know where it came from, but I know there's a song.
Steve, I'd just like to thank you for joining in, after Matt and I were completely done with the bit.
Well, yeah, I have a way of doing that.
Just that, yes. Yes. Steve, do you in fact have any news this evening?
I have some news.
Ah, wonderful.
Oh, that's me.
Tonight's news is brought to you by the Bermuda Triangle. Get lost forever.
CBSnews.com. An extinct bird species has evolved back into existence. I didn't even know that was possible. Evolving back into existence? That's cool. A previously extinct species of bird has re-evolved back into existence, according to a new study. Okay. The Aldabra rail first went extinct around 136,000 years ago. How do they know that it actually... Now it's reclaimed its home island. According to a study published Wednesday in the Zoological Journal of the Linnean Society.
Yeah, that.
Zoological Journal of the Linnean Society. a peer-reviewed scientific journal. Sediments from the Alabra Atoll in the Indian Ocean show that the island has been completely submerged multiple times, wiping out all species inhabiting it. See? Bermuda Triangle shit right there. Every time every species on the island went extinct, but the Aldabra rail has returned again and again. It's a pretty cool thing. The rail is an example of iterative. The rail is an example of iterative evolution, when the same ancestral lineage leads to repeated evolution of a species at different points in time. The rare phenomenon means that species can reemerge over and over despite past iterations. Oh, it's iteration. Iterative iteration. I see. Going extinct. The flightless bird, a descendant of a species of flying bird known as the white-throated rail, was completely wiped out when the island disappeared below sea level about 136,000 years ago. When sea levels fell again a few thousand years later, fossils show that the species recolonized it, once again losing the ability to fly due to an absence of predators on the island. Oh, so that's what makes birds fly? Huh, I didn't know that. If there's no predators, they don't have to fly. Makes sense. These unique fossils, but it's just, sorry, my brain's working.
He's amazing tonight, man.
Well, my brain
know that he's on the
My
case.
mind's completely blown.
The man, he can't read for shit.
Birds that died came back to life.
Zombie birds?
Because there's nobody to eat them.
Zombie fucking birds, man.
How did they come back to life if they were extinct?
The genetics were there.
Iterative evolution.
And they sprung up out of the island rock whenever it resurfaced?
No, what happened was that other birds that were very closely related to them, which were flying birds, they went out there and recolonized the island and then reverted back.
Aren't you listening at all, Matt?
Yeah, and I also read the article beforehand, and it
says
to me it's
a little confused.
Yeah, because like they're saying, an extinct bird came back into existence.
Like, hey, it just grew out of the ground.
Yeah, and like, I mean, is it the same if an animal evolves to fill a niche, even if it does it over and over again whenever it goes extinct? I mean,
if it evolves into the same exact animal, I would guess, yeah. But the problem with these birds is that because they've lost the ability to fly, that it's going to happen again. So when the island reemerges, eventually it will, they're going to die off again. And it's going to take only 136 years for them to
rise.
What's that?
You mean when the sea levels rise?
What did I say?
When the island reemerges.
Submerges.
Submerges. That's what I mean. When it goes underwater again.
Yeah.
Good
job, Steve.
That is a cool story, though. That's really neat.
That's why I put it in the news, Steve.
Power of life right there. Okay, next.
I'm here for.
The U.S. government, this is according to businessinsider.com.
Well, they are an insider.
And they're related to business, although this story is not. The U.S. government just officially recognized the Satanic Temple as a religion.
Just now.
There is a new religion.
Scientology got in before Satanism.
Well, I thought
Satan's been around for a long time, I think.
I mean, there's this thing, this document that we have that says everybody has the right to create whatever religion they want to.
Yes, sir.
So, are they just now officially registering? I mean,
well, let's read this.
Let's find out, Steve.
The Satanic Temple has earned the same tax-exempt status as a church by the IRS. The group has been around for half a dozen years. So this actual particular religion, Satanic Temple, has only been around for half a dozen years. And grabbed news attention for its political activism, which I'm sure, wasn't there something in Oklahoma or something like that?
No, Steve, nothing at all. Move on.
There's a new, yes, he doesn't like to talk about that, Matt.
Just saying.
But like another thing that we don't talk about, spontaneous. But there's a new sect of Satanism that they claim that they do not worship Satan. They
Yeah.
power.
We are Satanists, but we don't worship Satan.
Right.
There's a difference between Satanists and devil worshippers.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, there's a whole I don't know. It gets complicated. I guess much like Christianity, you get Catholics, Christians.
Yeah. But they always lose me on the part where they don't believe in God.
Yeah.
Because you have to believe in both, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, Christians believe in Satan. So Satan,
unless you create unless your belief is in a different
a different
evil deity or whatever, other than the one referred to in the Christian religion, that would work. But whenever it's based on the one in Christianity, and then they say that they don't believe in God, it's just kind of silly.
You want to know? It's very interesting. I've never owned a copy of the Satanic Bible myself, written by the late Anton LaVey. I do believe that's who wrote it. But there's a passage in the Satanic Bible. Do you know who they hate in the worse than Christians? Is people who practice magic.
Magicians, yeah. They're evil.
Like
no,
they,
not magicians.
no, not fucking David Copperfield, Steve.
Well,
Just
I hate
on a
David
fucking
Copperfield.
rabbit out of their hat.
Yeah,
that's fucking evil, man. I believe in Satan, but that shit, he made the Statue of Liberty disappear.
Well, I'm telling you what, though, David Copperfield's the greatest magician of all time. When's the last time you seen him? He's disappeared on his own.
Yeah, fucking. It's called Rape Island.
He's gone.
Yeah, do a little research.
He's somewhere with Kevin Spacey.
He's gone.
But that's really interesting because don't they practice magic?
Technically, I would say no.
Black magic is okay.
I would say no. I would say their practices are ritualistic, not necessarily magical or spells or whatnot.
But isn't there such a thing as ritual magic?
Correct. But so I mean, here's where it gets really, really gray area. So by that token, Catholics cast spells.
Ooh.
Every fucking week in church because
By
they
the way,
practice rituals weekly in their services. I would consider that to be a practice more than magic. I think magic's more intentional, which is a good segue, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. I am going to be starting a new show on the channel.
What?
I'm not sure when.
And you're not invited, Steve.
That's okay. I don't want
And Matt's not invited either.
Fuck you, Matt.
I wasn't going to mention that part.
I've got a friend. She's an astrologer, and she's also into shamanism. She doesn't want her name to be known, as far as I know at this point.
We'll just call her Jody. I don't know. I made that up. I hope that's not a real name.
Oh, great.
That'd be funny.
Yeah,
delete the show.
Jody's across fucking Facebook. Are you the fucking chick that's going to be doing this thing with Chris? But I'm going to put together a show. It's going to be about all those things that we never really go into on this show. The spiritual side of things. Religion's a fucking horrible topic to go down.
If you're going to do a religious show, count me out.
Yeah, well, it's not so much religious. It's that for those of people who don't know, I used to, and I still subscribe to the faiths that I had, but I used to practice ritual magic, and ritual magic is basically it's artistic prayer. I mean, if you want to look at it logistically, I mean, to put it in layman's terms. And I still subscribe to the belief structure and the tenets of it. But I'd wanted to start talking about different things like magical orders, shamans, spirit journeys, things of that nature, astrology, divination. I mean, we do stuff on this show that is loosely in that direction, but I wanted to put something out that's more, for lack of a better word, it's woo. It's very, this is stuff that you have to kind of have faith in, and it's different. Now my look at these things, I look at these belief structures as a way to better oneself. I don't see it as a way that you're able to cast spells, and although technically you kind of are, but I can get.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't a lot of that stuff kind of based on your own personal approach to it, on whether it's evil or good?
Right. And it's and the way I see it is it's a very personal thing, and it's about personal growth. I mean, if you want to make yourself better or worse for that matter, using one of these belief structures, you can do it. You can make yourself a horrible person, or you can
also do that with Christianity.
Right. You can do that with anything. It's just a structure. It's a form. It's all in how you use it. Many of the books that I've read in the past have always said, these energies, these things, they're like electricity. Electricity isn't good or evil. It's how you use it. But I've been wanting to do something on this for a while, and I wanted to try to introduce something astrological, because I think that astrology has a profound a place in the world, but not so much in the predicting the future realm, but more as in energies and things of that nature. But I'm going to be starting that show at some point in time soon. I'm trying to decide on a name for it. Right now, it seems like the popular one is Slip into the Night or Slip into the Stars. I haven't decided which, because I want to try to keep it in the same vein with the Fortean Slip.
Is it possible for me to finish the news?
No.
Okay.
Steve, I mean, this is a fucking show. Can I not fucking go off on a tangent about something?
No, it's your show.
I mean, this is news.
It is news.
I'm going to have a new show.
Nice.
On the channel.
Who's going to report on that? Like the New York Times or some shit?
No.
Oh, then I guess I can't.
No one. I'm reporting on it, Steve.
By the way, they are going to have an after-school Satan club. So, for those of you who go to
Matt, are you going to attend?
Absolutely. Already signed up.
Got your copy of the Satanic Bible?
I do.
Your Anton LaVey pendant?
My directions to the afterlife in the glove compartment.
There you go. We're all good. So what's next on the news, Steve?
Oh, this is not a good story. This guy's a piece of shit.
Ah.
Yeah.
I'm in the news again?
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah, the Washington Post.
This is from the New York Daily News, but close enough. This is about a guy in Florida, and he wore a werewolf mask while torturing his girlfriend's sleeping 2-year-old.
Oh, that guy.
What a dick. A Florida man was arrested. The more I actually pre-read this story, and the more I read it, the more disgusted I got. So I'm going to share it with you guys, because we're not condoning this behavior. We're
not saying fucking go put on a fucking werewolf mask and terrorize your girlfriend or wife's daughter or whatever, or even your own for that fucking matter.
Anybody's kid.
But Jesus Christ, this guy's a piece of shit.
But we want to show you that there are people out there in this world that shouldn't be on this world.
And where is he from?
Florida.
Florida guy.
A Florida man was arrested after police found evidence that he tortured his girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter on multiple occasions by burning her, shooting her with an airsoft gun, and throwing bottles at her as she slept while he wore a werewolf mask. Andrew Ross Sileas, I think is how you pronounce it. I want to get it right because this guy deserves to be recognized for his bad behavior, was arrested and charged with child abuse, aggravated child abuse, probation violation, possession of a weapon, and several drug charges. Escambia County Sheriff David Morgan said that the abuse was discovered when the girl's mother, I'm not going to say her name because that's not important, took her to an emergency room thinking she had ringworm. The ER physicians who Sheriff Morgan said were well-versed in spotting child abuse, quickly determined that the marks on her body were actually from burns and immediately called the sheriff's office. Sheriff's deputies were sent to the home where they discovered, now here's where it starts to get pretty shitty, where they discovered evidence on surveillance camera and on cell phones. So this jackass, dickhead, recorded this shit on his cell phone. Chief Deputy Chip Simmons said at a press conference on Wednesday they found systematic torture on the tapes. I'm assuming the surveillance. 2 videos showed the child sleeping as the man entered the room wearing the werewolf mask and throwing a bottle at the child. What really strikes you is the fact that it is dark, the child is sleeping, the door opens, and a guy throws a half-empty bottle right into the bed to wake the child up. They also found a number of instances where Saleh shot the girl with an airsoft gun to wake her up, just so he could hurt her.
Jesus fucking Christ!
I know, right? Simmons said one of the more disturbing videos shows the child being shocked with a dog collar, and as she Saleh also allegedly used a butane lighter to burn the girl, either with the flame or by heating the end of it and pressing it into her skin. I'm going to assume that's why her mother thought she had ringworm. It's from that particular form of abuse. If you want to think of something you could do to a child to terrorize them, this child probably lived through it, Morgan said. Morgan said there's also a suspicion of sexual abuse, but it's unconfirmed. I hope they don't confirm it. They believe the abuse happened for at least 2 months, but probably for longer. Simmons said that he's been in law enforcement for 30 years, and when he looked at the evidence, him and members of his staff were speechless, rightfully so. While in custody, now here's where it gets even shittier. While in custody, the dude calls his buddy Eric Fernins and asked him to destroy cell phones, which can contain some images recorded of the abuse. Fernins was arrested and charged for destroying evidence.
He did it?
He did it, yeah. So not only is there one asshole out there who would go to these lengths to torture a 2-year-old defenseless child, there are 2 assholes out there, and they're both now in custody. Thank God. During the press conference, Morgan said that this isn't the first time. Yeah, here's where it gets really shitty. This isn't the first time Saleh has allegedly harmed a child. He was charged with the murder of a 2-year-old child in 2006, but was acquitted.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. On Wednesday, sorry, I'm getting choked up by this story. Should, actually. Saleh was transported from jail to a local hospital after he was found hanging in his jail cell. He was expected to appear on court Thursday for charges, but it's not known how long he will remain in the hospital now. And that's the story. I don't know if
that motherfucker should be strung up and sliced.
Well,
and I mean, like, take a nice little sharp knife. Let's just call it a scalpel, and slice him down his chest, legs. Make these nice little incisions, and get a spray bottle with alcohol, and just fucking spray the shit out of him, and then turn him over and do the backside.
This isn't one of those guys who I think should be put to death. This is one of those guys who should.
Oh no, he should have to live with this
for
forever.
the rest of his fucking life.
Hell.
And I hope he lives a very long life in prison, of course.
What a piece of
has to deal with
shit.
Because being a child abuser in prison is probably not what you want to be in the first place. Because
listen, I mean, without using any name, I have friends who have children who were abused, and by their own father.
Yeah.
And to see what that does to a kid, over the course of their life,
even on a minor level,
it is
screw a kid up.
It is it will fucking take you down a notch in the world to see it. It really fucking will. And to know that there's this piece of shit
Two of them.
out there, two of them. No. They should just be torture the fuck out of them.
By the way, the article does, and I must have missed it somewhere, but the article says that the mother, and they're pretty confident that the mother had no idea that this was going on. Thank God, because that would make 3 of them, and I don't know that. That's just bad. But she didn't know. She really thought the girl had ringworm, and that's why she took her to the emergency room. There's no evidence on the surveillance or the cell phone videos that the mother was ever involved in any of it, so that's good. So at least somebody in that household had some sort of human being. But my God, what goes through a person's mind to make them do that shit? I just don't get it.
None of us would be able to understand it.
No, I don't think so.
No. Well, here's the thing. I think on some level we could understand the where the desires come from, because people who do that sort of thing, their desires come from the same place that our desires come from, but their pleasure centers, their whole thing is different.
Totally fucked up different.
Right. So the thing that we can't understand is why they derive it from that.
Yeah.
Or why they would carry through with it.
Right. Like I used to have the discussion with an old roommate of mine, and we would always talk about like why do we have this fascination with serial killers? And it's because we don't understand them. Like that was the conclusion that we came to is we don't understand the switch and how they can do that, how they can go from being able to rationalize and being able to do that thing that we can't even fathom.
And the thing about serial killers is that in public, you wouldn't probably know. I mean, they're totally normal otherwise.
Oh, yeah. Look at BTK.
Right.
You know, look at fucking Dahmer was able to convince the cops that one of his victims had just, he was just a little drunk and, he just stumbled out of the apartment.
Yeah.
They're amazing chameleons.
He was a businessman, wasn't he? I mean, he had a construction
clown boy,
and he was a clown as well. But
Bundy was an actual genius.
Yeah, Bundy was. I want to watch the stuff on Netflix about Bundy.
Yeah, I want to see that too.
Bundy was fucking charismatic as all, and yeah, he was a genius and smart. And he killed how many? Was it like 3 or 4 women in one night in a sorority house?
I think so.
Yeah, and he faked a broken arm and was using crutches. Oh God, yeah, that shit it twists me. Like my head kind of goes. Eh.
Although I would not put this guy on the level of Bundy and
no, but there's something in him that where he was deriving some type of pleasure from torturing this little fucking girl.
And then they get your buddy to actually destroy the evidence for you. Oh my God. First of all, why would you want your buddy to even know? Well, I mean, you're admitting guilt right at that point,
Well, you don't know. The guy might have had something to do with it.
It could be.
He could have been involved in some.
He might have been involved in that murder that he was acquitted of.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Well, either way, they're both where they deserve to be. And I have a feeling that Mr. Salias is not going to last very long in jail.
Yeah. Well, we can hope.
Somebody's going to beat the shit out of him.
Well, I hope that somebody takes my advice and does the whole full, cuts and alcohol. Torture him a little bit before you kill him, Don't make it fast. Savor that shit.
I'm sure they will make him feel it, every bit of it.
Well, in jail, it's kind of hard. You got to do that shit quick. You got to shank him and run. Steve, or do it in a crowd of people.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Being a child abuser or somebody who's sexually assaulted a child in prison is probably the worst thing you can be in prison. Even prisoners have a code of conduct, and that is one thing you just don't want to be in there for.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
He'll get what he deserves. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's the news, fellas.
Can we get fucking Agent Penis on the case?
I don't know that that's appropriate, but
Why not? It brings it around, Steve. It's a light. It lightens the mood.
it does.
You know. Stop thinking that everything has to fucking be bad, Steve.
Penis.
Agent Penis is a fucking important man.
What makes
He
you
works at the
Agent-
CIA.
Whoa. Why are you assigning gender to Agent Penis? That could be a woman.
Steve, you're right. Agent Penis could very well be a woman.
We don't know. It's just a name.
Steve, you have corrected me, and I apologize.
You should never assign gender. Don't you know?
Until we know who exactly Agent Penis is, we will not say him or her. It's just Agent Penis.
I thought it was an actual like top secret government agent that was actually a penis.
Ooh. That
Just
would be interesting.
One big cock
Just like
Just
a
rolls around on
like
its
a
balls.
regular sized penis with little arms and legs.
Yeah. Sort of like Pickle Rick, but a penis.
Yeah.
Hey, do we know any cartoonists who could make this into? Oh, yes, we do. Oh, Agent.
No, we don't.
Oh God! Oh God!
That's one request I will never make.
Spectre,
Hey, Fred, could you now just go with me here?
somebody's going to do it now that we said it, because we have big influence.
Yeah, right. Jesus Christ. On that note, this has been the Fortean Slip, episode 77, the Bermuda Triangle Vacation Getaway. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Check out Matt Knapp over at youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads and Cryptid Tales. Check out Richard Allen's blog. The link is below the show. And check him out. Check out his comic strip on Facebook, Bigfooting with Keith and Colin. Check out our skeptical, fun-ruining friend, Phil Poling, at youtube.com/parabreakdown.
Maybe he's Agent Penis. I think I just figured it out.
That I'd buy.
Yeah.
But not a very covert agent. Very out in the open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, penises should be out in the open.
Is that what you think, Steve?
That's what I've heard.
Steve, are you a nudist?
I thought about that.
You thought about being a nudist? Is
Yeah.
Marsha down?
No.
No. She's not out with letting it all hang out.
Nude. She doesn't want anybody else to see me nude because that wouldn't be very. Yeah.
Because that would be awful.
It would be awful.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. And yes, as always, check out our good friend Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and
It's coming out with a new comic strip.
youtube.com/Dred Funn. We will be back next week. I do not know what the topic will be yet. We have some things on the board. We do have a board now.
Squares. Next week will be squares.
Squares? Oh, yeah. We do triangles. And the following week will be circles. Yeah. When are we doing dodecahedrons, Steve?
That's going to take a lot more research.
Far into the future. All right. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a good week. See you.